Hello friends, followers and channel members. So, whilst I've been away on holiday last week, GSX Ground Services Extreme was released for Microsoft Flight Simulator. This is arguably one of the most anticipated add-ons for Microsoft Flight Simulator since its release nearly 2 years ago. Now, Ground Services Extreme has been around for years with P3D and also the older incarnations of Microsoft Flight Simulator FSX. So for those of you new to Microsoft Flight Simulator, this is brand new to you, but for those of us who have been flight simming for a number of years, as I say, in older flight sims, FSX like me for example, Ground Services Extreme added a much needed environmental improvement to the overall simulator. We've known that GSX was coming to Microsoft Flight Simulator for some time. FS Dream Team, the developers, have told us that many months ago. So when I heard last week whilst I was away that it had finally been released, I thought, fantastic, I cannot wait to get back this week and test this out for you guys. Knowing how GSX worked in previous older simulators, I was expecting something amazing in Microsoft Flight Simulator given the amounts of graphical improvements that this has. Very quickly though, after all the hype about its release, we started hearing news that actually this product wasn't quite so good, and I thought, well, I'm going to reserve my own judgment, and in this video I'm going to check it out myself and see if it really is as buggy as many people are claiming. Surely with all the improvements in graphics and of course AI technology since FSX days, then this incarnation of GSX should be absolutely amazing with a full immersion factor improvement. So whilst I got this downloading, I kind of was having a few flashbacks to my old FSX days when using GSX, and it was as buggy as hell sometimes. The quality scripting engine not starting, airport cache not working correctly, and basically things just not doing what they promised. So was this going to be any better? Whilst it was installing, I had a look through the comprehensive manual. I also noticed a lot of the pictures in this manual were indeed from FSX, so clearly what they were planning on doing in this new version was incredibly similar to the old versions. That's okay, I just wanted to do it better. Now, we're installed, so for a first test I'm going to go to my local airport, Doncaster Sheffield Airport. No third-party scenery, so this is default, so we get to test everything out straight away. Let's get this loaded. And okay, that's not a good start. Oh, crashed the desktop. Alright, well, you know, new software, sometimes first time it runs doesn't always work. We'll try again. So back to Doncaster Sheffield Airport. Incidentally, today while I'm filming this, the Antonov 124 has made an appearance there as well, so some of you local to that airport may have seen that flying around. Okay, let's see what happens this time. So I've jumped straight in and I have requested my boarding, and whilst I am absolutely loving the new jetways, because of course GSX doesn't just provide passenger animations and loading and things, it also replaces every jetway in the world, every default jetway in the world, and also the ground vehicles as well, with local companies and things like that. So as we can see, we've got the Royal Bank of Scotland being advertised here in Doncaster. I think they look great, but why on earth is it attached to the right hand side of the aircraft? That shouldn't happen. Now this is potentially more of a Microsoft Flight Simulator bug, although I'm pretty certain when I've loaded here in the past it's always connected to the correct side. That might just be me. Maybe someone who's not got this could try it out and see what happens at this parking position. So I've requested boarding. Let's see those passengers. Oh dear. Okay, well, as many of us do believe that at times pilots can perform miracles, this isn't one of them. We've got Jesus Christ flying for us today in the Phoenix A320. That's not good, is it? How is that even possible? Okay, well, I guess this is something we can perhaps go in and try and edit later, but the fact that every airport needs its own AFCAD file, for those of you again reverting back to FSX will recall editing AFCAD files in the past, past. I don't want to have to go and do that to every airport I want to fly from. I just want a product to work, and surely in this day and age there's a way for software to understand where the jetway is and where the passengers would then walk through it, because well, divine intervention is happening quite a lot here in Doncaster. Right, well, okay, so first impressions, not good. The airport vehicles, though, that GSX has provided are indeed quite nice. Here we can see a nice EasyJet one. It must have known who was making the video. But we've also got lots of different custom vehicles for catering, obviously the pushback, things like that. So these are nice. We just need to make sure they're utilised properly. So we'll leave our divine passengers from Doncaster here. Let's head to a handcrafted airport instead of a default one, see how we get on. So you would be hard pushed to find a handcrafted airport as good as Brussels from Aerosoft, the Aerosoft Mega Airport. Right, let's try it out just here. Now, these do not have the GSX jet bridges, and this means then that I don't think we can actually see the passengers walking through these. This is because all of the handcrafted airports normally come with their own jet bridges. Of course, they're handcrafted, so they've all been made as realistic as possible. Remember, GSX goes in and replaces all the default ones, and you probably don't want your GSX replacing the handcrafted ones from your payware or even freeware downloaded scenery, which is fine, and you can tell GSX to do this. In the GSX installer menu, you can go ahead and select the airports that are handcrafted, either let them find it automatically or go through manually and select them and disable them so that the jetways here are not replaced. But when you do this, it means you're not going to get passengers showing through them unless you set them up manually. Now, I decided I would have a go at doing this. So you basically have to create passenger waypoints in their editor menu. It is not very intuitive, and it's not the easiest thing to do. In fact, I found it downright frustrating. Reading through the manual, it's not entirely clear all the time. So you do have to read it and reread it, and then a little bit of trial and error, you can create them. Now, the problem I had with this is that it became a little bit unreliable. Sometimes I get stuck in a loop. In fact, I got stuck in a loop doing this so much that I couldn't access the GSX menu, and I was stuck. I couldn't get out of the editor, I couldn't find the editing box, and so yeah, it really did have me pulling my hair out for a time. And as if that wasn't bad enough, once I thought I had gone ahead and cracked it, this happened.
Couldn't find valid airport data at this position. Services are not available.
Are you kidding me? I've just spent half an hour trying to create 2 waypoints to get the passengers from the terminal building to my aircraft, and now you're telling me it's not working? Okay, I've had enough of that. So I don't know now if I've just screwed up my Brussels airport and GSX will never work there again. Let me know in the comments if you know different. After I'd calmed down and had a cup of jam and toast Yorkshire tea, I decided to have another go again. I returned to Doncaster. The jetway is at the wrong side. I'm going to create passengers so that they can come through our jetway at the wrong side. But the jetway's there, and it won't let me create the waypoints and go into the editor while the jetway is there. Well, how am I meant to know the path of the jetway if the jetway isn't there when I create the waypoints? Okay, I'm just going to have to guess, aren't I? Let's see if I do any better this time around. I've sped this part up for you because, well, it's incredibly boring if you don't like doing this kind of thing. Not quite sure where these random numbers have come from, as you can see on screen. In fact, there's one of them that stretches the entire length of the terminal building into infinity. How strange. Right, I'm done. Let's see if my passengers are going to walk down the jetway to the wrong side of the aircraft. And here he comes. Yeah, there we go. All right, actually, that's not bad. I'm quite happy with that. Here come the captains. This time they're not walking on water, so I thought, brilliant, all is well. And then they turned around, walked back into the terminal, and then started walking back in mid-air. All right, I give up. I need to spend a bit more time on this. Now you can see as well, look, there we go, they're turning back around, they're also in midair. The reason they're in midair, of course, is because the actual jetway does get lower and lower, which is fine, and you can indeed create the waypoints lower at the aircraft end so that that looks fine. But unless the jetway is extended while I'm doing this, I had no way of knowing where to put that waypoint. Again, something else that needs fixing if you're going to be able to do this correctly. As the passengers in GSX always enter the aircraft via the front left door, or sometimes the rear left door, but never the right hand door, a jetway to the right hand side is just never going to work. As buggy as that was though, nothing annoyed me more than this. Here I am at Gatwick Airport and I'm trying to start GSX and absolutely nothing is happening. So I don't know, maybe my CoT engine isn't running. So quick look of the task manager, I'll start it manually. There it is, I can see it, it's right there. So it is absolutely 100% running. Okay, now let's start trying GSX in the menu again and oh, where's it just gone? It's crashed. It's crashed on me. Why has it crashed? Well, now obviously GSX isn't going to work, and I was at this for about 10 minutes. The CoT engine just kept stopping. Just didn't want to play. How could I fix this? I have no idea. Maybe restart the simulator, maybe restart the PC in general, but that's a little bit too buggy for me. So I launched the FS Dream Team installer, see if I could do something from there, and I'd got an update. There was an update for GSX Pro, so if you have got this, try and run the update. Maybe they fix a few things. This time I'm going to load back into Manchester Airport, and why do I have 2 gates for all of my parking positions? Okay, I'm not so sure that this was there before either. If anyone has Mako Simulations Manchester Airport, can you just try loading in and letting me know if you have got 1 or 2 parking positions per stand? That would be great, thank you. That might have always been there, but I'm not entirely sure. So I gave the pushback tug a little trial, see how it did, and I've got to be honest, this was absolutely perfect. Absolutely no complaints with the pushback. I like the voice interaction, and you can also hear the ground crew growing and inserting the steering pin, things like that. All the sound effects are really there, and of course if you're in the Phoenix aircraft and you can open the window up, you get to hear those as well. So nice little touches on the sounds. Not noticed that before in previous versions of GSX. So my final thoughts, what do I think about GSX? Well, I'm disappointed, I've got to be honest. I'm loving the dance that these trucks are doing, by the way, but that's not exactly good for the immersion, is it? You're not going to see that happening legally at any airfield. So I think that this is a product which is ported over from FSX. It may not be, that might be me being very unfair, but I think that this has the potential to be absolutely amazing. But it's nowhere near ready yet, and I would much prefer had the devs just waited another 3 months, 6 months until a lot of these little issues could be ironed out. Spending far too long trying to get things to work, trying to get menus to load, trying to get engines to run. It kills the fun that we've got here when Microsoft Flight Simulator is just so easy. There is absolutely nothing wrong with the ground vehicles. The ground vehicles, the texturing, the sounds, they're all amazing. They are brilliant, but I don't want things sliding into each other. I don't want airport vehicles just doing Tokyo drifts around corners. I certainly don't want passengers walking through mid-air, because the whole point of Microsoft Flight Simulator is how realistic it is. And unfortunately, instead of taking the realism level one step further, I'm afraid to say that a lot of the time, GSX actually removes the immersion factor. I don't think I've ever said that about any add-on yet for Microsoft Flight Sim when it comes to non-aircraft add-ons. Do I think GSX Pro will improve? It's got to, hasn't it? I think the user interface and its simplicity really does need looking at. How many times have you, and I'll be interested if you guys come back to me in the comments and answer this question, how many times have you tried to load the GSX menu and nothing's happened, or the CoT engine hasn't started yet? It's that kind of thing which makes you think, yeah, uninstall, I'll go back to my Latin VFR ground vehicles. I'll use toolbar pushback or pushback helper, and as for the passengers, well, it's far more realistic not to have them at all than it is to see them walking in midair. Once these little things are ironed out, well, then you've got a product worthy of the price. Sorry to be too critical. If you think I'm being overly critical, then by all means, let me know down in the comments what you think. Do you agree with me, or do you think that actually this is a great place to start? In fact, it might be a great place to start, but it's also got a long way to go. I hope you found this video useful anyway. Thank you so much for watching. If you are new to the channel, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notifications bell. If you've enjoyed the video as well, don't forget to hit that like button, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye bye for now.